Hi, my name is Chong Idong, and I'm a professor of physics at NTU, as well as the director of the C N Young Scholars Program. Today, I would like to tell you about the C N Young Scholars Program, which is one of NTU's most prestigious programs intended to groom future leaders in science, technology, and mathematics.
The C.N. Young Scholars Program is named after Professor Yang Zhenning, who won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1957 and for many decades was one of the major patrons of science research and education in Asia. In 2006, Professor Yang visited NTU. At the time, NTU was just beginning its journey to transition into a full-fledged research university. It had set up its College of Science only the year before, in 2005. To help boost these efforts, Professor Young generously agreed to lend his name to a new scholarship program that would provide unique opportunities for students who are interested in pursuing a career in science or engineering research. Since then, the C.N. Young Scholarship Program has blossomed into a very active and prestigious program that takes in about 60 scholars each year. These scholars come from all sorts of backgrounds, but their shared factor is that they are passionate about science and they're keen to tackle challenges across multiple disciplines. They come together alongside their peers to form a tightly knit community of scholars who work together, play together over their 4 years of study at NTU. They also have a lot of experiences that are unique to the program, including overseas research experiences, which I'll tell you more about. Now, let me give you a quick overview of what the C.N. Young Scholarship Program entails. So let's split this into two pieces, the scholarship and the program. The scholarship refers to all the forms of financial support that are given to our members of this program. Now, the vast majority of the C.N. Young scholars are supported by this scholarship. However, not everyone is. There are some members of the C.N. Young Scholarship Program that are supported by other scholarships, such as the ASEAN Scholarship, PSC Scholarship, or other external scholarships. And for them, they will be given the perks and forms of support relevant to those other scholarships. There are also some who join the program without a scholarship. But for the majority of our scholars who receive this C.N. Young scholarship, they are offered the support that is shown in the yellow box here. Tuition fees are fully covered up to the amount of the subsidized tuition fee after the Ministry of Education tuition grant. Every year, each scholar is also given $6,500 of living allowance and up to $2,000 of accommodation allowance to go towards hall fees at one of the NTU halls of residence. In addition, there's a one-off $8,000 travel grant that can be used for various overseas experiences and a $2,000 computer allowance. Now, note that this financial support do not involve any bond. Okay. However, for Singapore permanent residents or international students who are taking the MOE tuition grant in order to pay subsidized tuition fees, you're liable for the standard 3-year service obligation. For details of that, please refer to the MOE tuition grant website. This does not apply for Singapore citizens who automatically get subsidized university tuition under this tuition grant without any bond. In addition, for all members of the C.N. Young Scholars Program, whether or not they receive the scholarship that I have just described or they have other forms of support, we will also provide the following perks. First of all, you will have guaranteed hall stay at one of the NTU halls of residence for the full 4 years of your degree program. You also receive a travel allowance for your overseas final year project, which I will talk about later. In addition, there are various other more minor forms of support for research activities. And in addition, if you apply for the overseas exchange, you will be given priority for those programs. Next, let me talk about the scholarship program itself. The CN Young Scholars Program is not just about us giving you money and other forms of support. It's also a unique educational experience. CN Young scholars don't take exactly the same program as others in the same undergraduate degree programs. So first of all, in year 1 and 2, CN Young scholars will be taking a specially crafted multidisciplinary science and mathematics curriculum, as well as a range of special courses geared towards scholars covering the topics of ethics, writing, tech for good, and making and tinkering, some of which I'll describe later. There will also be other experiences, including at the end of year 1, there will be an overseas learning trip of 1.5 weeks. There will be a research attachment at the NTU research group in year 2. And finally, there will be an overseas final year project of 5 to 8 months during your final year of study. All this is in addition to other requirements that may come from your undergraduate major, whatever core courses or prescribed electives they may require. Okay, so this is what the timeline looks like for your 4 years of study if you are in the CN Young Scholarship Program. So year 1, in this blue box here, you will be taking the CN Young core courses covering the physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, climate change, and a course that introduces you to academic research. At the end of your year 1, during the summer break, or as NTU calls it, the special term, there will be an overseas learning trip and a making and tinkering course, as shown in the yellow box. In year 2, you will be taking a bunch of special courses, and you'll also be taking your research attachment during both semesters of year 2. In year 3, this is when most of our CN Young scholars will be clearing up many of their graduation requirements and pursuing their internship, as well as optionally an overseas exchange. Finally, in year 4, CN Young scholars will be taking the overseas final year project, which I will describe in the next few slides. All this is overlaid on top of your usual undergraduate degree program requirements, including core and prescribed electives for your major, university requirements such as the interdisciplinary common core courses and other required modules. This includes, by the way, the internship, and whatever other elective courses you may choose to take as an NTU student. Okay, sounds great. So who's eligible? Basically, we take top students from any of the usual pre-university programs, junior colleges, polytechnics, and so forth. They are eligible to enroll at NTU. If you are matriculating into either the College of Science, College of Engineering, or the College of Computing and Data Science. This applies to anyone matriculating into any of the single major programs in these 3 colleges. We do accept also students that are matriculating into certain second major programs, but for other programs, including double degree programs and some second major programs and some integrated programs, these are not eligible to be taken alongside the CN Young Scholars Program, essentially because the time commitment is too large. The full list of compatible programs is shown on our website, which I'll show at the end of this presentation. You can look it up there. If you are not sure yet and you think you might be interested, but you still are possibly interested in a double major program of some sort, for example, you are welcome still to apply and still list your first choice, for example, as a double major program or second major program and still apply to CN Young. And if you are accepted into the Xian Yang Scholars Program and you want to take it up, you can automatically change your major choice into one of the single major programs with no penalty. Okay. Now, it goes without saying that the Xian Yang Scholars Program cannot be taken alongside other signature programs such as the NTU University Scholars Program. Okay. If you're in doubt, please, by all means, get in contact with us to get your questions answered. So next, let me talk about some of the highlights of the Xian Yang Scholars Program that I have alluded to previously. First off, as I've mentioned, in year one, Xian Yang scholars will be taking a multidisciplinary set of modules that cover the core topics of physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, climate change, as well as a module called Introduction to Research, which introduces you to academic best practices, how to read the scientific literature, and so forth. These core modules will be taken alongside other Xian Yang scholars, so they are specially crafted for this scholarship program. And they'll be taken in lieu of your equivalent major core modules. So, for example, if you're a physics Xian Yang scholar, instead of the regular physics year one courses, you will be taking the Xian Yang physics module alongside all the other Xian Yang scholars. This is one of the reasons, by the way, that Xian Yang, the scholarship program is such a unique experience because you will really form a tightly knit community with your fellow scholars who are being exposed to the same multidisciplinary material throughout your first year of studies. Okay, at the end of year one, Xian Yang scholars will go alongside their peers on a 1.5 week learning trip to some renowned overseas research center of excellence, including a university or research institute. This is organized by the Xian Yang Scholars Club. So each year there will be 4 options to choose from. The boxes shown here are the destinations that our scholars visited in 2025. Basically, the aim of this is to expose you to how research is done, not just in Singapore, but in places outside Singapore. And this trip is subsidized by the program, so you don't have to worry about paying heavy expenses. The other thing that's done at the end of year one is the making and tinkering course. And this is taken during the year one summer break. In this very special module, you will acquire so-called making skills, which are skills like 3D printing, basic electronics, basic machining, that are used to put together prototypes and devices that are useful in one way or the other. Not just for engineers, but for scientists working in labs who often have to put together some custom piece of equipment. This is actually a very fun course, and it provides you with really the very unique experience in making and developing skills, a skill set that is outside of the classroom and solving some real world problem. Next up, in year two, we have the research attachment. Throughout this year, meaning both semesters, as a Xian Yang scholar, you will be doing research under the personal supervision of an NTU professor of your choice. At the end of this process, you will be producing some scholarly work, including a report, a poster, and a scientific presentation. In many cases, Xian Yang scholars have been able to convert this into full-fledged scientific papers that actually advance the frontiers of scientific knowledge, either as a direct outcome of this second year research attachment or during subsequent research experiences. Some of our Xian Yang scholars actually publish papers. 2 examples are shown here. So we do give modest cash awards for these publications of up to $3,000 and additional support of up to $2,000 if you want to attend scientific conferences to present your work to other researchers. Finally, We have the capstone of the Xi and Yang Scholars Program experience, which is the Overseas Final Year Project. This is overseas research experience lasting up to 5 months for engineering students or 8 months for science students. You will identify and locate a research advisor in some university anywhere around the world and then go to that university to perform research for that period of time. And this will be done in lieu of your usual final year project that is a requirement of your major. Of course, those who, for whatever reason, wish to do their final year project in Singapore, you are welcome to do so as well. But many of your senior scholars do take up this opportunity to see what it's like to do research in some other place around the world. In places like Harvard University, the University of British Columbia, the University of Oxford, and so on and so forth. The CNYang Scholars Program, I should also mention, is part of a new initiative called the NTU Honors College, which is an umbrella organization that brings together the various signature programs and other scholarship programs in NTU. As a CNYang scholar, you will join in with other NTU scholars for certain unique experiences, including a service learning course called Tech for Good, in which you will be putting together some technological solution to help the local community somewhere in Singapore. There'll also be other experiences such as community fundraising project, the details of which can be found on the NTU Honors College website. Let me close by mentioning a few other things. Aside from the formal program components that I have mentioned here, there will be other unique ad hoc experiences exclusive to Xi and Yang scholars. For example, Singapore often hosts famous visiting researchers, for example, Nobel laureates. And on many occasions, we have organized special meetup sessions with Xi and Yang scholars for them to interact with this Nobel laureate or other renowned international visitor. Moreover, Xi and Yang scholars can look forward to taking part in a very vibrant student community. As I mentioned before, starting from year one, Xi and Yang scholars live together, work together, play together. It's a very tightly knit community. The Xi and Yang Scholars Club is extremely active with activities going on essentially every week during term time. You will find this a very rich and valuable part of your university experience. Our program has been running for almost 20 years now. We are very proud of the accomplishments of our various alumni. Many of them have gone on to leading roles in industry as well as in academia. Within industry, Xi and Yang scholars have joined both promising startups as well as big companies of all sorts. Within academia, they have gone on to study PhDs in leading universities around the world. And then our earliest batches of Xi and Yang scholars have indeed gone on to become professors in their own right, both in renowned universities worldwide, as shown in the upper row, and even back in Singapore. Okay, so I hope you have convinced you that this is a extremely interesting and enriching program. You are very much welcome to apply. For further details, visit our website, which is shown on this slide, or to follow us on social media, Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn. I'll also be giving this presentation during the NTU physical open house, so you are very much welcome to come by if you have any questions that you would want me to answer in person. So thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to welcoming you into the Xi and Yang Scholars Program.